Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the front power window regulator on this 2003 Nissan Frontier. The regulator is the same for Frontiers from 98 to 04, although getting the door panel off may be different for a couple of the years. We're going to show you the driver's side. The passenger side is basically the same procedure. And the items you'll need for this repair are a new window regulator from 1AAuto.com, flat blade screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, and a 10mm socket and ratchet, or a 10mm wrench would work as well.
Locate the Phillips head screw in the door handle, as well as down there in the door grab, as well as the plastic clip up in the corner. I'm using a small flat blade screwdriver to pry that little clip off, and then I'm going to use a Phillips head screwdriver to remove those two screws. Fast forward as I do that. Lift off the rear of the armrest. You'll expose another Phillips head screw right there. I'll go ahead and fast forward as I remove that. Now remove the portion of the armrest with the switch pack assembly in it. Just pull it up, and you'll notice two connectors, and they're just removed by pressing the tab in on them and pulling them out. Go ahead and do that. Notice this exposes another Phillips head screw, and I'll go ahead and fast forward as I remove that. Now just being held on by the plastic clips that are right behind it, that if you give a good tug it'll come right off. Lift it and put it out of the way.
There are two Phillips screws that hold this bracket in place. Remove those and then carefully pull back your water shield. Okay, this plate has a series of 10mm bolts that hold it on, and we'll fast forward here as we use a 10mm socket and ratchet to remove those bolts in that plate. And now you can see here we have good access to the inside of the door. There are two bolts that hold the window to the regulator, and you're going to remove those. Those are 10mm. Most often with these regulators, they're cable actuated. The cable breaks, and you hear a popping and then a grinding noise, and you can hear your window motor trying to work, but the window doesn't do anything. When that happens, basically when you get to this point, you can just grab the window with your hand and move it up and down and make it easy to get to those bolts. And once those bolts are undone, you can lift your window up, tilt it forward, and slide it up and out. Use a small flat blade screwdriver, pry up on a tab, and disconnect, and then you just got to pull firmly on the clip until it comes, the pin comes out of the door. 4 10mm bolts hold the regulator to the door, and you can see remove the bottom two, remove the top right one, and then just loosen the top left one. 3 10mm bolts hold in the window motor, and we'll remove those. Okay, in the foreground is our old original regulator, and there's our new regulator. You can see it's going to replace it exactly, same connectors, same everything. Just need to transfer over the top bolt. Okay, so just taking that bolt from the old regulator, put it into that top slot on the new one, feed the regulator in bottom first, up into place. And put that bolt through and slide it forward, and kind of get your window motor set up. There are little tabs that hang up on the door, and then make sure you feed your harness through that oval hole. And speed up here as we thread the bolts in. The brighter CAD plated ones go on the window regulator and the darker ones go on the motor, and then tighten those 7 bolts up nice and firm. Okay, take your window, feed the front edge down in first, make sure it goes into the track properly, then make sure the back edge goes into the track. Okay, and then slide it down to the regulator. And I'll fast forward here as we just replace, put those 2 bolts in. You might have to move the window around a little bit, but get the 2 bolts that hold the window to the regulator in and tighten them up. And we'll keep the speed going here as we connect our lead and clip it into place. Then put that plate back in place and tighten up the bolts and the screws that hold it in place. Put your shield back on and put the bracket back in place.
Going back on with the door panel, you'll notice the clips, and they're going to be going into the holes that correspond into the door. First, we're going to want to pull the wires through door panel where they go, and then we're going to hang the top of the door panel onto the door and make sure that the plastic clips line up with the holes. And then once we know that that's all set, we can give it a couple taps around the perimeter of the door panel to seat those clips. Start to reinstall your Phillips head screws right there in the inner door handle, and then the 2 that were hidden by the armrest, and then the one in the door grab handle, as well as the clip that goes up in the triangular piece that covers the mounting screws for the mirror. And I'll go ahead and fast forward as I do that. Now you can take your door handle there and switch pack assembly and reinstall the connectors to it, and then place it down inside of the door there, starting with the back side and then working your way to the front. By pushing it down, you'll see the clips clip in, and then you can go ahead with the back portion of the armrest, slide that in and then down in the back, and then once that's all said, you can then reinstall that last, the final Phillips head screw.
We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.oneauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.